Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie for those who don't know me. This show was chaos. And I would expect nothing less from my people.
Let's not think of it now. Let's enjoy our last night together.
No, men are actually so evil. Men are actually so evil.
How are we feeling about the season so far, guys? So clearly I have watched ahead. However, we're only going to review episodes 1 and 2 in this video. If you have watched the season already, or if you've watched past episode 2, don't be that person who goes and spoils it in the chat. There are other forums where you can talk about the show. Don't be that person. Don't get blocked. Don't get cussed out. It's not fun, okay? So we're only talking about episodes 1 and 2, all right? Okay, before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. Off the bat, love the hosts. Love the hosts. Let me get their names. Silamina and Hausa Mosese. Love them. They are married, and she was issued an ultimatum in their relationship. All right now, interesting. But yeah, I love them. They were serving looks. Great stuff. Let's get into the couples. Ruth and Isaac, they've been together for 2 years, and Ruth issued the ultimatum. He's very secretive about his life. She can't call whenever, she can't text whenever, she can't show up unannounced, and she hasn't met anyone in his family. At this point, I'm single. We're obviously not together, okay? They were also long distance for a bit, but they have been living closer for the last 8 months, so he feels like he has to learn her again. All right, child. The next couple is Kanya and Gatego. The reason why I'm laughing is because every time I see Gatego's name, I want to sing. If you're South African or Southern African, you know, Hallelujah, Gatego, yes, oh, I shulela. Every time his name pops up, I'm like, Hallelujah. So yeah, love Gatego's name. Love it. It's so beautiful. So he initially wasn't her type, but she claims that over time, he's become her type. Okay. She says that she's not doing wifey duties without the title, and he says he's not ready because she doesn't trust him. Next, we have Sizagele and Lindile. They've been together for 6 months. And you know, at first, I wanted to criticize them because y'all been together for 6 months and you're already issuing an ultimatum. How does that make sense? But they did say that they were, is it that they were friends or they were neighbors? So they've been in proximity of each other before being together. So that makes me give them a little bit more grace. It's not like they met 6 months ago. So yeah. Lindile, the guy, is actually the one who issued the ultimatum. He asked to get married 3 months into their relationship, and says that he only wants people in his life that he can grow with. So she's gotta marry him or leave, because if he can't grow with you, you're out of the picture, okay? Oh, and then the last couple, Kanya is the one who issued the ultimatum. Then we have Tabby and Genesis. They've been together for 7 years. Tabby is the one who issued the ultimatum. Genesis says that finances are the reason why he's not ready for marriage. Yeah, she's not buying that one. Then we have Courtney and Aiden. They have also been together for 7 years. Courtney is the one who issued the ultimatum. He said, I thought there was a couple who was together for 10 years. Oh, is it 7 and 7? Okay, maybe I'm tripping. So he says that marriage is scary. And he has witnessed a lot of people be married for a long time and then have to go through a divorce. He feels like breaking up is easier than going through a divorce. So that's why he doesn't want to get married. That is the worst excuse if I've ever seen one. And I don't know why Courtney, I don't even know why Courtney stuck around to hear that foolishness. But anyways, the last couple we have is Lebo and Nola. They've been together for 1.5 years, and Lebo issued the ultimatum. She feels like his communication is poor and he's really flirty, but he calls it being friendly. He says that she's too insecure. These two do not need to be together. He says that she's too insecure and is bringing in baggage from her past relationships. If I heard my man talk about me like that on this show, I would have to break up with him. It would have to be over. No questions asked. So the couples are, they're not really mixing and mingling, but they're all meeting each other for the first time. And then they separate to spend their last night together. Immediately, we learn why Ruth needs to leave Isaac yesterday.
If you don't want me to spend time with somebody else, let's walk out of here then.
Okay, let's go.
Let me tell you something. You know one thing that you actually don't do? Be like, hey, baby, how's your day going?
Have you ever had those moments where you doubt me?
All the time. When you're not-
The way that he's lashing out, it gets me worried.
I just wish that you at least communicated it. I'm sorry that you feel like I don't care.
Like I said, I love you. So moving forward, sit down at toast.
This man had the audacity to be upset with Ruth because she doesn't ask him how his day is going enough. And I do understand how that can be frustrating. But for him to, one, get so agitated by that, and two, be so secretive about his own life in the first place, how could she ask you what's going on if you never tell her anything about your life? Even if she asked you, would you say anything? How's your mom? Oh, I don't want to talk about. How are your friends? I don't know. I want to text you. I want to call you. Oh, no, you can't text and call me at certain times. Why would I ask you how your day's going? Are you dumb? Oh my gosh, I do not like Isaac at all. He also seems to stifle her emotionally. And we see as the process goes on that Ruth becomes more and more happy the less time she spends with Isaac. Very sad. Next, we have Tabby and Genesis. They were very eager to talk about who they have their eyes on, but then reality started to sink in for them. It also was sinking in for Kanya and Gatego. These people think, oh, ultimatum, this will be a fun experience. Yeah, until you realize your partner for however long is now your ex. And now you have to live with somebody else.
I'm just gonna need you to tell me what I want to hear.
But I told you about the trust already, like we need to work.
Yeah, but I'm gonna leave now. My mind's gonna keep wondering what's happening when I'm not around. So these are the goodbyes.
Yeah, bro. My life is mostly him, I think a big part of me will be broken.
The main issue with both of these couples is fear and jealousy, honestly. I mean, with everyone, but these two in this moment, it seems like it's fear and jealousy. I think that the realization that even if your partner doesn't leave here with somebody, they might leave here with an understanding that maybe you're not meant together. That is a scary feeling. That is a scary feeling. I think it would be better. What would be better? I'm going to ask you guys this. Would it be better for your person to leave alone or to leave with someone else? So the next day, all the couples are single now, and they're going on speed dates. We learn very quickly that Gatego is a great conversationalist, okay? The man is a charmer.
I can speak a bit of Tsonga.
Why are you into Tonga, man? That's why. I feel like Tabi is inquisitive, and I think that's also very beautiful. I don't want to leave. I'm just playing. I feel like Caesar Kelly is a vibe. She's very fun to be with. I am Mr. Charming. I was born that way.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I can see why Kanya, I always want to call her Kanya. Kanya doesn't trust him. I can absolutely see why Kanya doesn't trust him. It's not even that his conversations were inappropriate, but because he's so good at charming people and you can't really tell, are you being friendly or are you being flirty? I would want to have my eyes on you. And then if I feel like I have to have my eyes on you, obviously we shouldn't be together because I don't trust you. And even when we were watching the show together, we couldn't tell who we liked him with more because he just fit with everyone. It seemed to make sense with everyone he spoke to. It worked with Courtney. It worked with Sizagele. It worked with Tabi. It worked with every girl. And I'm like, I don't know. I'd be concerned. Then on the other hand, you have Kanya. I don't even know how this girl ended up in a relationship, let alone is now issuing an ultimatum because Rigid doesn't begin to explain.
What do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Oh, nice.
What do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, okay. What do you do for a living?
I'm an entrepreneur.
I feel like I'm just irritating her.
All the guys that I met are like 6 and 7s out of 10.
I do not know how, what's his name? Not me forgetting his name, Gatego. I don't know how Gatego was able to charm Kanya. She is so rough. She's so rough. Like, her attitude. And she even says, you know, I'm a tough nut to crack. I hate when, not hate. It frustrates me when I hear people being proud of being difficult. Because who is trying to stick around long enough to discover that you're actually a nice person once you get past the, you know, past the hard shell, that you are purposefully making hard so people don't get to know you. Like, I don't know. That really frustrates me. If you naturally, you know, have your walls up and you just want to scope a scene before you get to know people, okay, fine. But to have pride in being a hard nut to crack, I don't know. I don't know. At the beginning of this process, I was kind of concerned about Courtney and Aiden. I didn't know how well they would fit on the show, let alone with this group of people. But Courtney was actually doing very well on the speed dates.
I already had a slight attraction to him on the first evening.
By the way, I also wear glasses, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I should have brought them, right? Like matching glasses.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've done?
Walk on top of a bus while it's moving.
I find myself laughing and smiling in his company. All these feelings make me immediately attracted to him. I don't know if it's love or lust at this point.
Courtney was talking to a lot of the men. She seemed very open to exploring connections with them. Even the first day, she said that she noted a lot of people who she was actually attracted to. So I was like, okay, I have high expectations for Courtney. That didn't last long. I'll just tell you that for now. That did not last long. So the group is actually split in half. And this is where me and the friends, we were talking, we were saying, do they have a bigger budget with the essay, or is the money just going further? Because I loved breaking away from the resort that they're staying at to have proper dates. So they did roller skating, they did painting, they did dancing, they did, you know, like proper dates. It was awesome. And then we see the theme of jealousy in this group of people.
She and I, we clicked. The chemistry is there.
Nola had his eye on Ruth.
The exes must remain.
No.
I'm left with Sizakele, which is something I'm not looking forward to.
Baby, I don't know.
Can we refrain from calling each other baby?
I want to listen to you. I want you to explain to me what is it that you're feeling.
I love you.
Refrain from that, please.
Refrain from?
Hold your feelings.
No, it's okay. I'll just focus on other people.
In this moment, Lindile was pissing me off. He was pissing me off. He seems like a have your cake and eat it too kind of guy, okay? He's like, how do you feel about me? I'm assuming he's asking so that she can say that she has affection for him. But when she starts saying that, no, don't say that. No, don't say that either. No, don't put it in that way. What do you want? Like, what do you want? I'm so confused by this guy. Like, he wants this other woman, but then he also wants his current woman to still be attached to him. But don't be attached in this way because Lindile is I don't like him. Then we have this conversation between Nola and Ruth. This man is clearly taken by her and he is laying it on thick.
You are every man's dream.
Am I your dream? Our energies are here. Bumper to bumper. Nola holds my hand and I'm like, Kosia.
Ruth Moseko.
Mrs.
Ruth Moseko.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I will say that Ruth does seem like a person who you actually would want to be partnered up with. She seems like she's fun, life of the party when given the opportunity, not with her man Isaac. She's bubbly, she's also kind. You know, I can see why Nola is really trying to let her know, like, I'm into you. But also, the way that he was just so ready with these lines, are you ready to be Mrs. whatever? Are you like, that's giving scammer. It's definitely giving scammer. And then in the beginning, we learned that one of his issues is communication. That's what his ex said. So I'm sure that he's really good with flattery, but he's not good with vulnerability. We'll see how that plays out with him. The other group that goes dancing, again, lovely date. It was a bit out of the comfort zones of a lot of people, but that's what makes a good date. Even if you're uncomfortable, how are you going to pivot? How are you going to, you know, I loved it. It was so good. So we see Kanya vent about Ngatego's flirting. Didn't go well with Ngatego.
It's a natural flirt, so I'm used to it.
While we're still fighting, their eyes keeps looking at the ex-boyfriend.
I wanted to see him interact with other women, you know, when he thinks I'm not looking.
I feel a bit selfish, but I enjoy being the only man making you laugh. I really don't want to lose you, eh? and it's scaring me.
And as much as I agree with Kanya that Ngatego's flirting is a bit problematic, she is a self-proclaimed attention seeker. So even the way that she tried to expose him was like, this is another moment where you're looking for attention. And I'm thinking, like, that must be exhausting to want to deal with. He probably talks to a lot of people more because you are just so, you just take up so much space. You know, you want everything to be about you all the time. Maybe he wants people who just validate him for him. Maybe. Then, this is where I started to flip on Gatego. She says that he is the one who actually brought marriage up first. And now all of a sudden he's changing his mind on the marriage thing. So that's interesting. He seems like somebody who has double standards, you know? Like when Kanya started opening up with other people, he was like, none of that. I don't like that. But it's like, you've been doing this throughout your whole relationship, let alone just the process. And now when she's doing it, it's a problem. And also you brought up marriage first. And now that she's bringing it up, it's a problem. Yeah, no, he seems like a guy who's like, well, I don't really want you, but I also don't want anyone else to have you. Nola is making it very clear, that he intends on getting to know all of the ladies. He intends on flirting. He doesn't care who is watching, Level being one of them. So Level is now having this existential crisis because she's seeing her ex-boyfriend flirt blatantly in her face with other women.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, thank you so
like
much.
Yeah, I know you are looking rubbish.
Thank you so much.
And you, what you guys talking about? I want in the conversation. I need to feel sharp, man.
You didn't even ask me. When am I?
I'll get you. Lebo just wanna ruin my night. She's giving me that look.
He has never flirted whilst I'm actually present.
You know what? Have a drink, sweetheart.
Sweetheart, babe. Does it sound normal to you?
I'm not doing anything intentionally.
Nola is deliberately flaunting his connections in Lebo's face. Deliberately. And he knows she's insecure already. So to do that to me was just, I don't know, that was very unkind of him. Very unkind. Maybe when she sat down across from where he was sitting and talking to somebody else, I would understand where he's coming from. But there was a moment where he sat in between her and another woman and then was flirting with the other woman in front of Lebo. No, like that, anybody would be annoyed by that, even if they didn't have insecurities. Ruth and Isaac finally touch base after their awkward departure conversation. And I had an impression about Isaac, and the more that I see him, the more that it rings true.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. Should I say baby?
I don't know.
Do you have someone that you're liking already?
I cannot give you this information. I'm just speaking. Me having to answer those questions would hurt her.
There's someone that I like, I think.
Okay.
In their first conversation in their last conversation before they split up, I felt like Isaac is the type of person to want to be in a power position and to show his dominance in a relationship. And coming into this, I think that he was so arrogant. He thought he would be the hot shot that, you know, it kind of explains why he spoke to Ruth the way that he did before they went their separate ways. I feel like he thought that he would have a better time than Ruth would. So he didn't care about her feelings. He didn't care about being considerate. But now he's saying, Ruth is actually having a good time. And I only have one connection. And it's not sitting well with him. It's really not. And I'm happy. I'm happy that that's the case. Because whatever kind of power trip that Isaac is on, I don't know. There is no blatant evidence that he's trying to get somebody who is quote unquote more attractive than his partner, right? But I feel like he wanted to stick it to Ruth to be like, I can do better than you. So be careful how you play with me. That's my own personal theory. You don't have to believe it. That's what I think. And so I feel like that was part of the motivation for going for Kanya. Kanya and Isaac don't make any sense. He wants a traditional wife. He wants somebody to cook and clean and raise the kids and wait on him hand and foot, whatever. And she wants to be a trophy wife. She wants to be taken care of. I don't see Isaac doing that. Lebo opens up and says that Nola never shows her his like sad side. She's never seen him sad. And it makes me think, well, one, why do you feel like you can't be vulnerable like that with your partner? But two, is he a guy who's just performative? And now seeing how, this big laugh, flirting with this girl and that girl, it seems like he does tend to perform. He puts on a front a lot of the time. And I will say, I'm a person who laughs very loud, very loud. You can hear me probably from the next building over, you know what I'm saying? But the way that Ruth and Nola were doing it, it was OD. It was OD. And it got to the point where everybody was thinking, okay, now, what really could be that funny? What honestly could be that funny? So people could tell, there's something else going on here. So there was another situation too, where Ruth did the same thing with Genesis, which made Tabi feel very insecure because she's like, okay, we get it. You're getting along. Like, all right. Like she got so insecure to the point where she cried and had to leave the room. And I'm thinking like Ruth and Nola were definitely trying to prove a point. I do think that they have a connection, but I also think that they were trying to prove a point to their partners. Clearly, Ruth's game plan worked, and Isaac had reached his boiling point. He had had enough.
She did not care about how much she's hurting me in that process. We're here to get to know people, but she's just like overdoing it. She's having the best of time. And what more she does behind my back? What more?
This is where it was solidified for me that he definitely loves being in the power position. The fact that he was just there, no connection, no nothing. I mean, Kanya, who knows where Kanya was, right? But where's your strong connection? Go talk to her if you're so bothered by Ruth connecting with other people. But he only has the one connection. Whereas not Kanya, child. What's this girl's name? Ruth. Ruth is really that girl right now. She's that girl and he doesn't like it. He cannot take it at all. I think a part of him also thought that if anybody's going to leave the relationship, it's going to be him. And the fact that Ruth now looks like she could find somebody and leave her with somebody else, he was not prepared for that. Not at all. The group splits up in half again, and we now see Isaac building a connection with Lebo.
What would be your ideal wedding?
Hey, we do have us at home. We don't need to invite anybody because none of their business anyways.
Exactly.
Lebu's just quiet, she's beautiful, she's kind, she's understanding.
You don't do anything on that day?
I don't touch anything.
You don't touch
I don't even
anything.
part on myself on my own.
Yeah, I always make sure that I make people's birthdays very special.
I'll be happy if somebody has to bat me in the morning.
I don't want Isaac with anybody, but if I was to put him with anyone, I think Level makes more sense. She is very vocal about, being that wife who tends to her husbands and I got your slippers, your dinner, your dessert, and so much more. Like she wants to be that kind of wife. It concerns me that Isaac was praising how quiet Level is. I don't know, that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. It seems like he kind of wants a doormat. Like I get the wanting a traditional wife, but he also wants somebody who he can walk over. And yeah, I didn't really like that. They then started talking about like birthdays. His birthday is coming up and she's the type of person to go all out for birthdays. So maybe that's some incentive for him to pick her. But again, if I was to pair him with anyone, it would be her based on compatibility. Sizagele and Aiden, these two are like some lost puppies. Oh my gosh. They were just talking about missing their exes and it was game over.
She's her smiley self and we're having fun.
You miss Courtney.
Oh, yeah. I miss him so much.
Because they were both issued the ultimatum, I can see them being confused as to why they even have to go through this process anyways. Like they were fine. They were chilling in their relationship. But for it to be so triggering, I was like, oh, okay. Sizagele has only been with this guy for 6 months. And she's acting like, she's invested 10 years of her life into the situation. And if he leaves, she's going to die. Like, sis, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Even when you process the heartbreak, I promise you'll be fine at the end of it. Okay? It's been 6 months. She ends up collecting herself, praise God. And she has a conversation with Genesis that was looking a little.
And even listen to reggae. No. I listen to Mpatanga. Do you know Mpatanga? We forgive easily.
We love easily. There's chemistry. He looks at me with admiration. I can't be with someone unless they are very good kisses. I realized that it's just too early. Luckily, there's no mistletoe.
I was literally about to say, how does this girl go from crying and leaving the room to now wanting to kiss somebody else? I was like, but that didn't happen. But still, even the thought of it happening, I'm confused by Sizagele. I'm very confused by her. I think she's the type of person who feels her feelings very strongly. And so even if something is fleeting or maybe doesn't have too much substance, she's the type of person to really lean into it. So if she feels like she misses you, she feels like the world is ending. If she feels like she's in love with you, she feels like you're the only person to ever exist in her life. I mean, I guess it's good. Feel your feelings. I'm a proponent of that. I feel like you should feel your feelings, but we also need some emotional regulation. At the decision dinner, everybody's weighing in on how their week went, getting to know the new people, and it's very clear that some of the people are having a harder time than others.
Interesting as it was, it just made things really difficult.
It was just hard just not seeing my ex.
Changes happening inside. She's starting to realize how serious this is.
I sort of felt ignored.
I had a wonderful chat with all these beautiful ladies, yeah, except my ex.
So that really just pisses me off.
It's okay.
Have I told y'all that I can't stand Isaac? Have I said that before? If I haven't said it before, let me say it again. I cannot stand Isaac. I cannot stand, and Isaac, I'm trying my best not to bring my personal feelings into this, but Isaac reminds me of somebody who I experienced who was so self-absorbed the same way that Isaac is. He is so similar to Isaac to the point that they actually look similar. They look like one another. Their demeanor is the same. They want somebody to be this like broken down housewife, you know, basically a shell of a woman who just follows orders. And so because he pissed Ruth off in this little deliberation thing, she decided, you know what, forget the safe option. I'm actually gonna pick the risky option. I'm gonna go with Nola. I said, oh wow. Interesting, okay. So if not for Isaac's little blowout, she actually would have chosen the person who would have protected her relationship. But this man is just so arrogant, so rude, so inconsiderate that he might have just broken up his relationship from his little outburst just there, and he doesn't even know it. Watch you. So then we have Courtney. She threw me all the way off. She chose Genesis. I thought she was gonna choose, what's his name now? I thought she was gonna choose Nkateko. Even Nkateko thought that she was gonna choose Nkateko. He was shocked.
I got this.
Genesis to go into this trial marriage.
I hope you don't regret the decision of not choosing me.
I'm not sure how he's gonna respond at this point.
I know that at the back of my mind, he does have another option.
Courtney, I accept.
Genesis and Sizagele were making a good connection in the last few dates that were happening. So that's probably why she was feeling a little bit overwhelmed. The person who she probably was going to pick is now being picked by somebody else. And this girl feels her feelings. So yeah, she got a little overwhelmed by the situation. Me and my friends were talking about how this picking process could be a little bit better, because clearly there are people who are choosing either the safe option in terms of like not wanting to explore too much with somebody new, or wanting to spare their partner's feelings. So one thing that could work for the ultimatum is that speed dating matching chart thing, where you mark who you would want to get to know more, and then if you get a match, that's when you swap information. So in this case, if you get a match, that's who you partner up together, because to do this whole like, oh no, let me pick you in front of everybody, and then the person even has the chance to deny you in front of everyone. Just giving a small little spoiler for episode 3, there was a girl who wanted someone and then got rejected, and then she asked somebody else, and I felt like that person felt obligated to say yes because she was already rejected. You know what I'm saying? It kind of makes it awkward. So we will see. But the Ultimatum South Africa, great start. Great, amazing start. I have watched ahead. I know it's only getting better. So stay tuned for the new episodes. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.